You don't need more talent. You don't need more time. You don't need a miracle. What you need is to decide right now, this moment, that from today on you will become the kind of person who finishes what they start. Because here is the truth the world never taught you. Consistency is the invisible hand that shapes all greatness. No one sees it, no one applauds it, but it builds empires, it carves out destinies, it separates the dreamers from the doers. Most people wait for motivation, for the stars to align, for the voice of destiny to whisper in their ear. But those who win force themselves to show up again and again long after the excitement is gone. Consistency is not about how you feel, it's about who you are. When your emotions scream for comfort, when distraction lures you away, when quitting seems so easy, you rise, not because it's fun, but because it's necessary. The most dangerous lie ever told is this: do it when you feel ready. Nonsense. The people who changed the world didn't wait for readiness. They acted in spite of fear, in spite of fatigue, in spite of doubt. Because they understood one law: action repeated daily bends reality to your will. Think about that. You don't need to control everything. You only need to control one thing: your ability to return to the task, return to the plan, return to the work, day after day, until what once felt hard becomes automatic, until your future no longer resists you, it submits. You see, life doesn't reward intensity, it rewards consistency. A burst of effort once a month changes nothing, but small focused action every day, that rewrites your future. Don't trust your moods. Don't wait for clarity. Don't give power to the chaos around you. Anchor yourself to one principle: discipline first, feelings second. Because if you can command yourself to act daily, especially when you don't want to, you unlock a power that few ever touch. There is no shortcut, no hack, just repetition. Repetition in the dark. Repetition when no one's watching. Repetition when your soul is tired. And the irony? That's when it starts to work. That's when your mind bends. That's when your identity shifts. You stop being someone who tries, and you become someone who is, not a dabbler, not a hobbyist, a warrior, a builder, a master, and the world begins to respond to you differently. Opportunities open, respect grows, momentum builds. Why? Because you became predictable to yourself. When you're consistent, you become trustworthy in your own eyes. That self-trust, it's the foundation of confidence, and confidence is magnetic. It draws resources, allies, ideas, and energy into your orbit. But most people sabotage themselves. They start something, get excited, do it for a week, then stop. Why? Because they confuse emotion with commitment. They chase novelty instead of mastery. They let circumstances decide who they are, not you. You're going to choose differently. You're going to wake up each day and act, not based on comfort, not based on inspiration, but based on commitment. You will become the kind of person who doesn't need a perfect plan, just a relentless one. The kind of person who acts small but never stops. Because here's the real secret: tiny actions compounded daily create irreversible momentum. It's not sexy, it's not flashy, but it works. You don't rise to the level of your dreams, you fall to the level of your patterns, so elevate your patterns. You don't need to be extraordinary, you only need to be consistent. You don't need to be the fastest, you just need to keep going. You don't need to know everything, you just need to learn a little each day. The world belongs to the consistent, to the quiet grinders, to the relentless marchers who move forward, step by step, no matter how they feel. So let them laugh, let them doubt, let them misunderstand. You know the truth: when you force yourself to show up long enough, reality eventually gives in. Life stops resisting you and starts cooperating. Success isn't given, it's earned one day at a time. Not by luck, not by chance, but by consistency. You don't need perfection to succeed. What you need is forward motion, progress, movement, the discipline to continue regardless of speed. Remember, the tortoise didn't win because it was fast. It won because it never stopped. Every time you follow through, even in a small way, you cast a vote for the person you want to become. And those votes add up. They accumulate until they become identity. And identity is the strongest force in the human psyche. So do the reps, stack the wins, build the proof that you are who you say you are. You don't need motivation every day. You need a system, a protocol, a ritual that brings you back over and over. And when you don't feel like it, that's when it matters the most. Your future is hiding behind the actions you resist. That book you avoid reading, that message you delay sending, that habit you keep postponing. Face it, show up, break the cycle. Because every time you override your excuses, your old self dies a little and your new self is born. Make consistency your standard, not just in work but in character, in kindness, in excellence, in honesty. Build a rhythm so powerful it becomes your essence, so deep that people recognize your reliability without a word. You'll be tested, you'll feel alone, you'll wonder if it's worth it. And in those moments, remind yourself, discipline is a gift to your future self. It's love expressed through action. Stop negotiating with weakness, stop restarting the race. You are capable of far more than you've been showing the world, and now is the time to prove it. This is how you rise. This is how you win. One action, repeated, with heart, with fire, with belief, and with the unshakable conviction that everything will fall into place, not by accident, but by your will. Consistency turns invisible effort into undeniable power. It sculpts your mind, hardens your will, and awakens your destiny. Keep going. You're not just building habits, you're building yourself. One decision at a time, one victory at a time, until success no longer becomes a question, but a consequence. The world will not hand you greatness. You must claim it through effort, through consistency, through daily choices that align with the person you're becoming. Keep showing. Greatness is not an act of chance, but of calculated, relentless pursuit. It's the art of showing up even when the world seems indifferent to your effort. Each morning, you face a choice. Remain as you were yesterday, or evolve. Evolution doesn't come from revelation. It comes from the daily grind of doing what needs to be done. Forget the outcome. Fall in love with the process. That's where transformation hides, not in what you get, but in who you become. The clock is ticking for everyone, but the consistent turn time into an ally. Their hours compound, their days build upon one another, their years lead to legacy. Excuses are comfortable lies. They soften the pain of inaction, but action, even imperfect, cuts through fear like a blade. Do something. Move. Begin. Winners don't wait for energy. They generate it. They build momentum, not from circumstance, but from commitment. It's not about being in the mood. It's about creating a rhythm so strong that even chaos can't break it. Make your daily habits so precise, so unwavering, that they become immune to excuses. You don't become unstoppable overnight. You become unstoppable by refusing to stop, one day at a time. When failure strikes, and it will, don't shrink. Expand. Use it as a sign you're stretching into new territory. You are not your past delays. You are not your previous doubts. You are your next decision, and that decision can begin a completely different chapter. No one is coming to rescue your potential. No one will force you to grow. That's your job. And it starts with one choice. Show up. Today, no matter what. Those who master consistency, master time. And time, when mastered, yields every reward life has to offer. Greatness is not an act of chance, but of calculated, relentless pursuit. It's the art of showing up even when the world see. Every successful life is built on invisible days. Days when no one clapped, days when no one noticed, days when you wanted to quit but didn't. True consistency is not mechanical. It is spiritual. It's the act of aligning your actions with your deepest vision, even when the world offers no reward. The disciplined are not born, they are sculpted. Each repetition is a chisel stroke. Each sacrifice, a strike of the hammer shaping something divine. You become powerful when your habits are so clear that you no longer debate whether or not to act. You just do. There's no firework moment when it all comes together. It's subtle, quiet. But one day, you wake up and realize you've become unrecognizable to your past self. Most will never know this power. They will seek magic in moments. But you are building a storm with small winds repeated daily. Let others chase sparks. You will master the flame. Consistency frees you from emotional slavery. It teaches you that you are not your urges, you are your standards. If the world is chaotic, become structure. If the day is noisy, become silence. If the path is uncertain, become the one who walks anyway. You won't be remembered for what you felt. You'll be remembered for what you did despite how you felt. Real transformation doesn't scream at whispers. It shows itself when you do what's right without needing applause. When you repeat the unglamorous, the world eventually hands you the extraordinary. Be the one who finishes. Be the one who returns. Be the one who is consistent even when no one is watching. That's the blueprint for every legacy worth remembering. One more step, one more day. That's how everything falls into place. Keep moving for war. The world has taught you to chase motivation, but motivation is a myth. It's fleeting, it disappears the moment difficulty shows its face. You don't need more motivation, you need a mission. When you anchor your life to a mission, consistency becomes natural. You wake up not asking, do I feel like it, but saying, this is who I am. Identity shapes behavior, and behavior, repeated, sculpts results. The secret few understand is this: everything you want is hidden behind boring, repetitive effort, the unglamorous tasks, the ordinary days, the silent wins that no one applauds. Champions don't rise in stadiums, they rise in silence, in garages, in basements, in tiny apartments, doing the same work again and again while the world sleeps. Consistency is not an act. It is a lifestyle. It is the decision to marry your habits to your future, to remain faithful to your potential even when results are invisible. You don't build mastery by doing something once. You build it by doing it until it's impossible to fail, until your actions no longer require permission from your feelings. Start thinking like a sculptor. Each repetition is a chip off the old stone. Your future self is buried inside your daily rituals. Your success is not an event, it's an exposure of character. The consistent are not better. They are not smarter. They are not luckier. They are simply unwilling to abandon the process. And that, over time, makes them unstoppable. Stop chasing intensity. Intensity is deceptive. It feels like progress but rarely sustains it. The people who win are not the ones who sprint once. They're the ones who walk forward every day without fail. If you can't trust yourself to do the small things, how will you ever accomplish the big ones? Start proving to yourself that your word matters, that your discipline is real, that you can keep showing up not for a crowd, but for your own future. Most people give up because they never tasted the compound effect of consistency. They've only known the frustration of scattered effort. But once you stay long enough, it activates, and everything changes. Confidence isn't a gift, it's earned. It's what happens when you show up so many times that your mind starts to believe in your own reliability. And that belief? It's a weapon. It silences doubt. It removes hesitation. It gives you speed in decision-making and certainty in the face of chaos. What's the alternative? A life spent waiting for the perfect mood, waiting for someone to push you, waiting for the fear to go away, but the fear never leaves. You outgrow it by acting anyway. Consistency is the enemy of fear. It's the antidote to anxiety, because it gives you control over what truly matters, your response. There will be days when nothing works, days when progress feels invisible. That's normal. Those are the days champions are born. When most people quit, the consistent lean in. They find something inside themselves that's stronger than circumstance. Make no mistake, this isn't about productivity hacks or goal-setting apps. This is about character. It's about choosing who you will become when no one is watching. You don't need a bigger dream, you need a stronger rhythm. You need to keep pounding on the door until it breaks open. Imagine a life where you trust yourself completely, where your habits are unshakable, where your direction is clear and your pace is steady. That life is possible, but it's on the other side of relentless consistency. So today, you choose. You either repeat your excuses or you repeat your actions. Only one builds the future you say you want. Let others chase sparks of inspiration. Let them rely on the fleeting high of a motivational video or a New Year's resolution. You are different. You're not chasing moments, you're building momentum. And momentum doesn't come from bursts of energy, it comes from friction, from pushing through when your mind screams to stop, from getting up and doing the work even when your soul begs for comfort. You become powerful when your habits are boring, when they're so automated that resistance has no space to breathe, when your routine becomes sacred, untouchable, non-negotiable. Think of every action like a seed. One rep, one page, one conversation. Alone, it's small, but compounded, it grows roots. It expands silently until the world cannot ignore the results any longer. This is the law of nature. What you plant consistently, you will harvest eventually. No one escapes this truth. You either suffer the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. One builds, the other destroys. Repetition isn't punishment, it's preparation. Every day you show up, you're sharpening a blade, quietly, precisely, until one day life hands you a challenge and you're ready. Because you didn't wait, you didn't hope, you didn't negotiate with laziness, you trained in the shadows, and now you rise. There's no need to announce your grind. Your results will do it for you. The world will start asking, "How did you do it?" And you'll smile because they didn't see the hundreds of days you acted without applause, the mornings you rose without motivation, the nights you stayed focused while others celebrated. They will think you were lucky. But luck is the excuse, the inconsistent use to justify mediocrity. You know better. You didn't wish for it, you worked for it, 1 hour at a time, one brick at a time, and now the wall stands tall, unshakable. You've become someone even your past self would admire, not because of a single decision, but because of thousands. So don't underestimate today. Don't minimize this moment. Every time you honor your routine, you declare to the universe, "I am serious, I am stable, I am inevitable." You are building a fortress with your choices. And soon that fortress becomes your freedom. The consistent never arrive, they evolve, and every evolution begins with a decision. I won't quit, not today. Success isn't a finish line, it's a state of mind you build through decisions repeated so often they redefine who you are. You want clarity? Show up. You want confidence? Show up. You want peace? Show up. All of it is waiting on the other side of action. You won't find answers in theory. You find them in motion, in the doing, in the sweating, in the failing and returning anyway. When others hesitate, you move. When others overthink, you act. When others complain, you adjust. That is the posture of someone who wins over time. The world rewards consistency not because it's sexy, but because it's rare. In a sea of wishers and talkers, the one who keeps showing up becomes unstoppable. The standard is not perfection, the standard is presence. Are you present in the process? Are you committed to the mission when it's not convenient? That's what defines you. You want to build something that lasts? Start by doing something that repeats. You want to be great? Be boring. Be reliable. Be the one who says, "I'll be there," and always is. You don't need grand plans. You need grounded actions. And when it gets hard, and it will, don't interpret that as a sign to stop. Interpret it as a signal that you're moving in the right direction. Comfort is not your ally. Growth never happens in safety. And consistency is what makes discomfort bearable, purposeful, even welcome. Because when you learn to trust the process, even pain has meaning. This is the turning point. Right now, not tomorrow, not when it feels easier. Now when it's hardest is the exact moment your breakthrough begins. You don't have to win the whole war today. You just have to win this hour, this task, this breath. Focus on the next step. Then take it. Then repeat. You're not here to impress. You're here to improve. to refine your edge, to become unshakable from the inside out. The moment you stop needing to feel like it, you begin to grow. You realize your power is not in your mood, but in your motion. There is no audience, no spotlight, just the mirror. And each day, you either face it with pride or avoid it with shame. Make your life your proof, make your results undeniable, so that when they ask, "What changed?" you don't have to say a word. Your consistency will speak louder than any story you could tell. You have what it takes. You always did. But now you're activating it. Not someday. Now, through choice, through action, through repetition. Let the world sleep. You've got work to do. So rise and return again and again until greatness has no choice but to bend to your will. Everyone wants the result. Few want the routine. But here's the truth. The routine is where the result is born. Not in the dreaming, not in the wishing, in the doing over and over and over again. This is the paradox of success. It looks like magic to the world, but to the one living it, it looks like work. Work in the dark. Work when tired. Work without applause. Work when it feels like nothing's changing until suddenly everything has. This is the season where most people quit. Right here. When it's boring, when it's quiet, when no one is watching. But you are different. You are training your nervous system to show up. You are teaching your body that action is not optional, it's default. You are rewiring your identity, one small act at a time, and soon your environment will bend to match the person you've become. This is how leadership is built. This is how wealth is built. This is how strong relationships, healthy bodies, powerful ideas are built through invisible effort repeated with intention. Not because it's exciting, but because it's necessary. Don't chase motivation. Build momentum. Motivation is a spark. Momentum is a fire. One fades quickly, the other sustains for decades. Every day you act in alignment with your values, you gain something the world can't give you and can never take away: integrity. And integrity compounds faster than talent. It shows up in your tone, in your posture, in the way you walk into a room. People feel it. They may not be able to explain it, but they feel something different about you. You've earned that through consistency. Do not envy the person who starts fast. Envy the one who never stops. Because the one who never stops becomes a force that no setback, no delay, no opinion can interrupt. This is what separates the temporary from the timeless. Everyone can be excellent for an hour, a day, maybe even a week, but very few can remain committed through the seasons, through the high winds and dry valleys. Consistency isn't just what you do, it becomes who you are. You start to trust yourself on a deep level. You don't need external validation because your own record speaks louder than praise. You look back on days, weeks, months, and you see a trail of proof. Proof that you are not a prisoner of your emotions. Proof that you are not ruled by circumstance. That's power, quiet power, and it's the kind that lasts. Success doesn't come from what you do occasionally, it comes from what you do consistently. That's why you must fall in love with the process. Because if you don't, you'll quit the first time it stops being fun. And let's be honest, it will stop being fun. But that's not a sign to stop, that's a sign to grow. The pain of consistency is real, but so is the reward. 1 year of consistency can change a decade. 1 month of focus can outperform a year of distraction. So why wait? Why hesitate? Why let comfort rob you of everything you said you wanted? The real difference between the person you admire and the person you are, no, is not talent. It's not luck. It's time spent in the dark doing what needs to be done. Most people will never see your grind, but one day they'll see the result. They'll ask what the secret was, and you'll tell them what they already knew but didn't want to believe: you didn't quit. You returned when it was hard. You showed up when it was boring. You stayed consistent when everyone else looked for something new. And now, everything is falling into place. You kept your promises when no one else was watching. You honored your goals when no one was checking. That's the kind of strength that makes empires rise. You don't rise to the level of your intentions. You rise to the level of your rituals. And rituals are built when you stop making excuses and start making standards. You don't do it because you feel like it, you do it because you decided who you are. Discipline isn't punishment, it's self-respect. It's saying, I am worthy of the life I say I want, and I'm willing to pay the daily price to live it. The world tells you to follow your passion, but those who make history, they follow their principles. Passion comes and goes. Principles stay. And your principle is this: I do not stop, no matter how I feel, no matter how long it takes, no matter how heavy the burden becomes, I do not stop. Because I know what's waiting on the other side, a life I built, a life I earned, a life that reflects my potential, not my past. Consistency teaches you patience. It reveals your blind spots, it humbles you, but most importantly, it prepares you. So, when opportunity finally shows up, you don't shrink. You rise, ready, grounded, prepared, and you move with power. That's the reward of consistency. It makes success inevitable. The future is not written by dreamers. It's written by the doers, the steady hands, the focused minds, the relentless hearts. You can have anything if you're willing to earn it, if you're willing to delay gratification, if you're willing to stay the course long enough for the results to reveal themselves. So keep going. Yes, it's slow, yes, it's hard, yes, it's lonely, but every great story was written in seasons of silence before it was celebrated in public. Keep showing up. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be present. You don't need more time. You need more focus. You don't need approval. You need to believe. And you will if you keep acting like the person you say you are. Consistency is how you become that person. It's how you cross the gap from vision to reality. There is no other way. And the moment you realize that, the moment you truly accept that everything you want lives on the other side of daily effort, you'll stop negotiating with weakness. You'll stop chasing shortcuts, you'll stop blaming the world, and you'll start building. Because you're not here to watch others win. You're here to win, quietly, daily, deliberately. Every time you act in alignment with your goals, you cast a vote for the future you believe in. And over time, those votes become your new identity. Not just a person who wants change, but a person who lives it. You no longer rely on hype or hope. You rely on habit. And habit becomes your engine, even on days when the tank feels empty. Most people get caught in a cycle: start, stop, doubt, delay. But not you. You've broken the loop, you've built a runway, and now you're flying. There will be turbulence. There will be days when it feels like you're going nowhere, but the ones who win, they keep their hands on the controls. They keep flying the plan. That's what consistency is. It's flying the plan, even through the storm. Because the storm will pass, but your preparation will stay. Every hard day, every quiet win, every small choice is adding up, compounding, building a foundation so solid that nothing can shake it. You're becoming immovable, not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. You are proof that greatness isn't found in giant leaps, but in daily steps. You didn't wait for permission. You didn't wait for the mood. You chose, again and again. And now, others will feel the shift. They'll see the change, and they'll wonder how it happened so suddenly, never realizing how long you've been at it. That's the magic of consistency. It looks like nothing until it becomes everything. So don't stop now. You're closer than you think. The world may not see your effort yet, but it will. Keep planting seeds. Keep watering them with discipline. Your moment is coming not because you're lucky, but because you're consistent. Every morning you rise, you send a message to the universe. I'm not done, I'm not backing down, I'm not letting comfort steal my calling. You were made for more, not because of your potential, but because of your perseverance. Potential fades, but perseverance builds. So hold the line, hold your vision, hold your habits like your life depends on them, because it does. You're not just building a future, you're building a self, a new identity, a new story. And one day, when it all comes together, when the pieces align, when the world finally takes notice, you'll know the truth. This wasn't sudden, this wasn't luck, this was inevitable, because you kept going. The path you're walking is not easy, it's not glamorous, it doesn't come with praise or applause, but it comes with something far greater: transformation. Transformation isn't a single moment. It's a series of ordinary choices made with extraordinary consistency. You get up when it's hard. You focus when it's noisy. You move forward when it's unclear. That's how change is built, quietly, bravely, daily. And the moment you begin to act from discipline, not emotion, is the moment you take control of your life. You stop reacting. You start creating. You stop chasing permission. You start shaping your reality. And yes, it will feel like no one sees it, no one cares, but every action is recorded in your mind, in your body, in your results. The scoreboard never lies. Keep showing up, because every time you do, you close the gap between the life you live and the life you want. And soon, that gap will disappear. Your habits will align. Your confidence will rise. Your progress will become visible not just to you, but to everyone. This is the compound effect of consistency. What once seemed impossible becomes normal. What once felt difficult becomes automatic. That's the power you're building. You're not becoming someone else. You're uncovering the version of you that was buried under years of distraction, doubt, and delay. And that version is strong. That version is focused. That version doesn't need to be rescued because they already chose to rise. You are not chasing success anymore. You are attracting it through who you've become. The world bends for the consistent because they cannot be stopped. They don't need to feel ready. They act anyway. They don't need to feel strong. They move anyway. Because movement builds strength. Action builds belief. And over time, belief becomes truth. You will no longer need to convince anyone. They will feel it in your presence, see it in your actions, hear it in your silence, because you kept going. You didn't pivot every time it got hard. You didn't restart every time it got slow. You stayed. You built. You endured. And because of that, you became inevitable. So remember this: you don't need more permission, more advice, or more time. You need more action, more discipline, more reps. Do what works, then repeat it. Refine it, master it, own it. And soon, your consistency will become your advantage, your edge, your weapon. People will ask how you did it, but they won't understand because they didn't see the thousands of tiny wins that built the foundation beneath your success. They didn't feel the resistance you overcame. They didn't see the sacrifices, the lonely hours, the quiet mornings. But you did. You felt every second of it. And now you get to live with the results of that effort. This is the truth. Consistency is the doorway to every breakthrough. You want freedom? Be consistent. You want peace? Be consistent. You want greatness? Be consistent. It's the master key, the final piece, the overlooked discipline that multiplies every gift and magnifies every strength. Most won't do it. Most will start and stop, begin and abandon, hope and hesitate. But not you. You've come too far to go back. You've built too much to let go. You've changed too deeply to play small. Now, it's time to finish what you started. Not for applause, not for validation, but because you said you would. That's what this was always about. Keeping your word, honoring your vision, becoming the kind of person who doesn't wait for life to change, who changes and then changes life. So rise again, one more rep, one more step, one more day, because everything falls into place when you stay in motion. You don't need loud victories, you need quiet repetitions, because that's where the real transformation happens, in silence, when no one is looking. Your friends may not notice it yet. Your bank account might not reflect it yet. But deep down, you know, something inside you has shifted. You've stopped hoping for momentum. You've started becoming it. There's a rhythm now, a pulse, a forward motion that cannot be denied. That's what happens when you stop starting over and start leaning in. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. It means refusing to disappear. You're not here to impress others with flashes of brilliance. You're here to become undeniable with repeated action. The world is full of sprinters, but the marathon is won by the one who never stops. While others burn out chasing a shortcut, you keep moving with purpose, calm, focused, dangerous. You don't need more energy, you need more alignment. And alignment is created through daily choices that reflect your highest standards. Your body feels it, your mind trusts it, your spirit aligns with it. The more you act in integrity with your vision, the more powerful you become. Soon you'll look around and realize you are no longer chasing anything. You're simply becoming everything you once hoped for. And you'll know the moment it clicks. The struggle becomes lighter, the doubts get quieter, the vision gets clearer. Not because the world changed, but because you did. This is the reward of consistency. The transformation that no one can steal, the confidence that no storm can shake, the freedom that no excuse can delay. You've tasted discipline and you're not going back. Not to your old ways, not to your past patterns, not to the version of you that used to settle. You've crossed the threshold. Now, your actions match your ambitions. Your presence reflects your purpose. And your future? It's no longer a question, it's a consequence. The consequence of staying committed long after most people gave up. The consequence of listening to your calling more than your cravings. The consequence of acting without drama, deciding without delay, moving without distraction. That's who you are now. Not perfect but present, not lucky but consistent. And from that consistency, everything will fall into place. Just keep going. This is not the end of your journey. It's the beginning of a new chapter where you no longer guess if you'll show up. You just do. It's automatic now, natural, not forced but chosen. And that choice is changing everything. You speak differently, you move differently, you think differently. Because consistency doesn't just shape what you do, it rewires how you see the world. Where others see problems, you see patterns. Where others see obstacles, you see opportunity. Where others stop, you begin again. That is your power. Because while others wait for the right time, you realize the right time is the time you decide to act. No more waiting, no more wishing. Just movement, just repetition, just relentless pursuit of the life you said you wanted. And here's the final truth you've earned the right to hear. There is nothing outside of you that's more powerful than what you've built within. You've created a foundation that won't shake, a mindset that won't break, a path that no longer depends on circumstance but on character. Let them talk, let them doubt, let them try to figure out your secret. You already know it. You forced yourself to be consistent. And now, everything falls into place. You've built resilience. You've built focus. You've built the rarest trait of all follow-through. You don't need the world to understand your path. You just need to walk it. With each step, you prove something sacred, that your word has weight, your action has intention, and your consistency has meaning. You've become a person of depth, of decision, of direction. This wasn't a temporary season of motivation. This was a transformation of identity. You didn't just build habits, you built a legacy. And legacies aren't built in moments. They're built in rhythms. Rhythms of effort, rhythms of truth, rhythms of choosing what matters over what's easy. Look around. Your progress is real. Your growth is irreversible. And your momentum, it's now your baseline. What once took force now flows. What once required effort now feels effortless. Because you stayed, you persisted, you endured. And in the end, that's the difference. The world belongs to the ones who refuse to stop. And now, so does your future.